Is there any player heading to St. Vincent College a week from now who will have more room to make a statement on the boards next season than Patrick Queen? Good morning and happy Wednesday. I'm Dan Kitovich from DK Pittsburgh Sports, bringing you this daily shot of Steelers coming your way bright and early on weekdays. If you follow hockey or baseball, don't miss our Penguins and Pirates updates as well. Now, let's talk about PQ. Yes, that's what I and everyone call Patrick Queen. He was a Pro Bowl inside linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2024, his first year with the team. Looking at his stats from 2023. In Baltimore, compared to his first season in Pittsburgh, the numbers are remarkably close. He started and played all 17 games. 133 tackles with the Ravens, 129 with the Steelers. 9 tackles for loss with Baltimore, 6 with Pittsburgh, which is a slight difference. 6 quarterback hits in Baltimore, 5 in Pittsburgh. Forced 1 fumble with the Ravens, and managed to force 2 with the Steelers. He recovered 1 fumble with each team. Passes defense, 6 with the Ravens, 7 with the Steelers. And here's the stat that might surprise you. 14 missed tackles with Baltimore, 9 with Pittsburgh. Despite these figures, everyone, including Patrick himself, would agree that he wasn't quite at his best in 2024. Part of the reason behind this dip in performance is probably what you're thinking right now. Early in the season, he missed tackles that should have been routine. Opponents simply went right through him, and it didn't look good. That initial impression stuck with people, and first impressions can be powerful, both on the field and off it. What stands out most is that Patrick never shied away from that reality. He was completely open about how he felt after each game. One game in particular sticks in my mind. The Steelers' 6th game of the season in Las Vegas against the Raiders. He recorded a game-high 13 tackles, which was 4 more than he'd ever had before that point in the season. 6 of those were solo tackles, including 1 tackle for loss. It was the kind of game where he finally looked like he was comfortable in the defense, and he admitted as much. After the game, we made eye contact, and he told me, "See, that's the one I've been waiting for." It was a breakthrough moment, but unfortunately, the Steelers' defense as a whole struggled over the final stretch of the season. The last 4 games, plus the playoff game in Baltimore, were rough. There was also the visual of his former teammate Roquan Smith playing well on the opposite side. Some saw Roquan's consistency as the reason Queen only performed well when in Baltimore. That perception turned into a negative narrative for Patrick. What's impressed me the most about him is that he has never run from this narrative. He never responded by saying, "Wait, my numbers in Pittsburgh were just as good or even better, and I made the Pro Bowl." He simply hasn't done that. I spoke with him during minicamp, and we talked about the so-called green dot challenge, the responsibility of calling the defense from the middle linebacker position. This was a big adjustment coming to Pittsburgh, not just starting in the middle, but being the defensive signal caller. I asked him if this upcoming season would feel different now that he no longer has to wrestle with that learning curve. He said it's like second nature now. He put on his helmet and immediately hears the defense communicating, and all the uncertainty is gone. He feels ready to just show up every down, every game, and play. He put the past behind him. No more excuses, just football. That mindset is exactly what you want from a player in his position. There was no defensiveness when I brought up some of the struggles. He knew what everyone thought. He shared some of those thoughts himself, but he's determined to improve. And that's where my mind goes back to the potential of Patrick Queen now that he's past the early phase, the green dot phase, and the chaotic stretch where things fell apart for the defense late in the season. My advice to him, and what I hope he embraces fully, is simple. Just play football. Forget all the noise and focus on what you do best. He certainly has the ability to do just that. And if the rest of the defense steps up, whether that's Derek, Harmon and Y.A. Black on the line, Jalen Ramsey possibly slotting in at cornerback, a healthy Cole Holcomb providing coverage and sideline-to-sideline pursuit, and a more experienced Peyton Wilson in his second year, then Queen has everything around him to elevate his game further. Does he need to bounce back? Maybe. But what's important is that he's ready to take on the challenge. The foundation is there, and the tools around him are improving. When the team returns, the atmosphere feels charged for what's ahead. Switching gears a bit, I want to address a recent exchange with a fan named Rick. On yesterday's program, I shared my thoughts on the Steelers' defense, particularly from a schematic standpoint. how Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin have done as coaches and whether their work raises any concerns. I mentioned that since Dick LeBeau's era, the Steelers defense hasn't outcoached anybody. Rick disagreed with me, reminding me of the consistent success we've had against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. He pointed out that Baltimore has the most dangerous quarterback and one of the most unique offenses in the NFL. Yet the Steelers won 7 of 8 meetings over 4 years, which can't be chalked up to luck or just player talent. Other teams have tried to copy the Steelers' defensive schemes because they work so well against the Ravens. The only time the Steelers lost was when they changed up the scheme in January, and Baltimore beat them. So Rick argues that the original scheme developed by the Steelers coaches is proof of excellent coaching. I appreciate Rick's perspective, and honestly, I'm glad to have this kind of discussion with fans. I don't always have to be right, and I'm not trying to claim that. So I'm going to leave it there and thank everyone for tuning in to the Daily Shot of Steelers. Remember, we have a double shot coming later today at 4 p.m. Eastern on the YouTube channel and the DK Pittsburgh Sports website. Believe me, it's hard not to jump back in with a response, but I'm holding back for now. Hope to see you. This afternoon, taking a deeper look at Patrick Queen's journey and what lies ahead, it's important to understand how much growth and adaptation he's already undergone. Transitioning from Baltimore to Pittsburgh was no small task. The Steelers' defensive system, while built on some similar principles, demands a different mindset, especially with the responsibility of wearing the green dot, the defensive signal caller role. It's a lot more than just playing linebacker. It's about orchestrating the defense, making split-second decisions, and reading offenses in a way that influences everyone else on the field. For a young player stepping into that kind of leadership role, there's a steep learning curve, and the first season often comes with growing pains. Patrick's honesty about that process is what makes his story compelling. During the early part of the 2024 season, there were moments when those struggles were glaring. Missed tackles, those routine plays that shouldn't have been missed, painted a frustrating picture. Fans and analysts alike began to question if he could live up to the expectations placed on him. Some pointed to the success of his former teammate Roquan Smith, suggesting Queen's production was inflated by being part of that Ravens defense. These comparisons can be harsh, especially for a player adapting to a new environment and a new role. Yet Patrick didn't hide. He faced those criticisms head on, maintaining a steady focus on improving rather than getting defensive or making excuses. That game in Las Vegas was a turning point, not just statistically, but mentally. Finally, he looked at ease with the defense, confident in his role calling plays and stepping up with tackles when it mattered. 13 tackles, including 6 solo stops and a tackle for loss, showed he could dominate when fully dialed in. The Steelers' 32-13 victory over the Raiders wasn't just a win, it was a glimpse of what Patrick Queen can be when everything clicks. For the player himself, that game was the validation he'd been searching for, the moment that erased doubt and gave him renewed confidence heading into the rest of the season. Unfortunately, the Steelers' defensive struggles down the stretch soured that momentum. Injuries, inconsistent play, and poor team defense made those final games tough to watch. The playoff loss in Baltimore stung, and seeing Roquan Smith excel on the opposite sideline only fueled the negative narrative. But here's what separates Patrick Queen. He never let those criticisms define him. He didn't dismiss them either. Instead, he took ownership. That mindset, owning your flaws, accepting feedback, and pushing forward is what sets apart good players from great ones. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL world is buzzing with a sensational rumor that could shake the foundations of the league. The Pittsburgh Steelers are reportedly eyeing a blockbuster move to sign BROWNS star cornerback Denzel Ward. This potential transfer has already sparked a frenzy among fans and analysts alike, with many wondering if the Steelers are ready to make a bold statement to reignite their defense and challenge the league's elite. Denzel Ward, known for his lightning-quick speed and lockdown coverage, has been a standout since his draft day. As one of the Browns' defensive pillars, Ward has consistently shut down some of the league's most dangerous wide receivers. His ability to read the quarterback combined with his aggressive tackling and ball skills makes him one of the most coveted cornerbacks in the NFL. The possibility of Ward donning the Steelers' black and gold uniform is causing ripples across the sport, considering the fierce rivalry between Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Sources close to the situation suggest that the Steelers' front office is exploring every avenue to bring in elite talent to bolster their secondary, which has struggled. In recent seasons, with a young and promising core, adding a player of Ward's caliber could transform their defensive scheme, potentially pushing them into serious playoff contention. Fans are already imagining the impact a player like Ward could have alongside the Steelers' existing defenders. On the Browns side, there's a mix of shock and uncertainty. Losing a player of Ward's stature would undoubtedly leave a void in their defense, but some insiders hint at possible contract disputes or a desire from Ward to explore new opportunities. Whether this is simply a negotiation tactic or a genuine possibility remains to be seen, but the mere talk of Ward leaving Cleveland has stirred intense debates. If the Steelers succeed in signing Ward, it would be one of the most surprising moves of the offseason and could redefine the balance of power in the AFC North. Rival fans are already gearing up for a heated exchange on social media, while analysts scramble to assess how such a signing might alter game plans league-wide. For now, it remains a tantalizing rumor, but one thing is clear: the NFL offseason just got a lot more interesting with the possibility of Denzel Ward joining the Steelers, and the nation is watching closely to see if this potential blockbuster will become a reality. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.